as the roofing, and we're pretty much packed for our travels. Solid Tetrising.
The next part of our adventure is a trip around Kyushu, while we were waiting for more parts to arrive for the R34. After packing up, we left our tatami room behind and started driving south. We decided to take the scenic route along the coast towards Nagasaki, our first stop for a couple of nights. A positive side effect of taking a scenic route in Japan is avoiding the expensive expressways. That said, overall traveling in Japan is not as expensive as people might think, due to a fairly weak yen compared to other currencies right now. Traveling in Japan has rarely been cheaper for Westerners like us. Also nice is the fact that fuel is quite cheap in Japan compared to Germany. But we did not just fuel up our car though. We made sure to stop at plenty of convenience markets such as 9-11s and Family Marts. Famichiki are one of Japan's greatest achievements. They are delicious pieces of fried chicken Maria and I will gladly have any day of the week over any Japanese curry. We never understood people's fascination with that one, to be honest.
Your destination is on the left.
At around the halfway point of our drive to Nagasaki, we stopped in a town called Sasebo. We stopped there because there is the only UpGarage in the entire Nagasaki area. They had some really cool stuff, but nothing for the 4-door. We left with picking up a drill as well as a super cool UpGarage hat they claimed only they have.
Woo. See, man.
We kept driving along the coastline, stopping multiple times to take in the scenery and atmosphere. It was the ideal day for a drive. Finally, we decided to stop at a beach and spend some time there before heading into Nagasaki City. After arriving at our destination, we parked our car in one of those cool car elevator parking spots. We only dropped off our things in the hotel and went straight for a bowl of ramen and a night walk through the city before calling it a day, so we'd be rested for walking through all of Nagasaki the next day. We decided to walk all the way from our hotel to the atomic bomb memorial sites. These are an essential if you come here. Nagasaki is a breathtaking city, and I'm glad we have the skyline to roam around so freely in the entire country. We headed out early to organize ourselves as well as to get a coffee at the first PA. After Nagasaki, the next stop would be Kumamoto. This time we'd be taking the expressway, because here it was saving us a ton of time and it would get us quicker to the next UpGarage. This UpGarage is in Saga, and it had a real nice selection of things, and I even found an exhaust I was considering taking with me for like half an hour. After checking if the DET version would fit on a DE, I finally decided against it because it had no mufflers whatsoever. And we kinda wanna travel in this car for several thousand kilometers in the coming months. I'll get something nicer down the road, and if not, I can still weld one myself when the car is back home. A couple of snacks and a stop in the Japanese unagi capital later, we've arrived in Kumamoto. We sort of repeated what we did in Nagasaki, a night walk and a good bowl of ramen. And I'm not talking about the chain ramen kind of stuff. Go get some artisanal ramen that are all over Japan, which are 100 times better than Ichiran. While talking about things we could eat every day, we got ourselves a nice plate of Toro sushis to get ready for Kumamoto's main attractions, the village and the castle. Kumamoto village hosted a ton of food stalls and sweets, which Maria obviously had to try. All of them. We chilled out here for a bit watching the occasional samurai show and moved on to checking out all of Kumamoto Castle. The reward for all that walking was first an izakaya for a couple of drinks and snacks, followed by a good old schnitzel in a German-style Wirtshaus. Really good stuff. In retrospect, we did eat quite a lot that day. Before leaving the city, one essential had to be ticked off the list. UpGarage. The UpGarage in Kumamoto was pretty big and had lots of cool stuff again. In fact, I did some shopping. Mostly things I can't use right now, but I was looking forward to putting on a brand new Broadway mirror. You know, the little things. The next destination was the city of Beppu. And while it was raining, we decided not to take the expressways and instead go for a private onsen bath in the Kyushu mountains, which was just over the halfway mark towards Beppu. These private onsens usually go for like 15 to 20 USD per hour. A price well worth the experience, I'd say. Proper refreshed, we made the rest of our way to Beppu, and even randomly drove past a racetrack I've never heard of until the moment I saw the sign. We had a super cool apartment, which was pretty inexpensive, so we stuck around there for a few days, to also have a breather between all the sightseeing. I even took my time to do some maintenance on the Skyline, such as filling up all fluids, because I noticed servo fluid being a little low. One of the days it wasn't actually raining, we decided to check out the 7 hells of Beppu. The hells refer to a collection of unique and visually stunning hot springs, each with its own distinct characteristics. But these are not the type of hot springs you can take a bath in, as they are fairly close to the boiling point. We found one of those later on. What city trip would be complete without a trip to UpGarage though? This time it was a small one in Oita, the city right next to Beppu. I sadly didn't find anything, but the staff was super helpful and tried to find all sorts of parts for me in their UpGarage network. I also popped quickly into a Super Autobox store to see what they had and to see if I could find a new battery. Back in Beppu we went for another private onsen, and this one was wicked good. You can book it for up to 1.5 hours for up to 4 people and just chill out to refuel. Fully rested, we headed out back to Itoshima, as a couple new parts had arrived for the Skyline. It was an expressway kind of day. In usual fashion, if there's an UpGarage on the way, it had to be checked out. This one's in Kurume, and it had a couple of gems hidden away. We got to Itoshima real early, so we decided to still head out with Fritz and his wife to visit the reclining Buddha statue in Nanzoin, as well as checking out one of the biggest Shinto shrines in the area. We ended the day on a gacha session for Maria, who pulled out a Nismo keychain for me, as well as getting dinner at Gusto, a restaurant that is served by robot cats.
Bye bye. Didn't even lock the car.
After a Kyushu run trip, it was time to get some things done.
Luckily, I brought my working shoes.
I bought a set of Blitz coilovers because I wasn't gonna find any for the NA non-hikers version at any UpGarage because they turn out to be quite rare. The only difference to the ones on my Skyline in Germany is that these have an eye bolt instead of a fork in the rear.
To get to the rear coilovers, we have to remove the rear seats first. I think there's a bolt down here, and then they just should slide out real easy.
Buying parts like these in Japan is great. I only paid like 750 USD for a brand new set of these. If I were to buy them in Europe, they'd be twice that. Luckily, Fritz lended me a helping hand, so everything went rather swiftly. And let me tell you, it is a way different feeling to be working on your Skyline than in Japan. I loved every second of it, and there's plenty more to come. Changing the fronts is straightforward as can be. 2 bolts on top, 1 on bottom, as well as a bracket here and there, and the new shocks are in.
Alright, let's have a look. I settled a bit, it's still pretty high.
I was really happy with how the new suspension felt. But right now it was time to spend some time with my wife, who has been chilling at the pier meanwhile. We popped in the R34 and drove up the coast for a nice test drive and to get some dinner as well. We met up with Paul and enjoyed watching the sunset while having some great food at the beach. There are few things in life that are better. Maria drove the Skyline home for her positive verdict, and all that was left to do is putting on the Blitz sticker to commemorate the upgrade, with hopefully more to join it soon. In the next episode there will be probably the biggest change this car will see while we're in Japan, so don't miss it. See you then.
Nein, ich hab das.